Welcome, everybody, to Christine Sadry's book launch of her first book, 13 Years Lost. And today is the actual launch day where it went live for both her print book and her ebook are available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, anywhere you buy your books online. And tonight we're here to celebrate her and hear about her author journey. And if this is your first Zoom book launch, which it may be for some of you, we will walk you through it. I think you're going to have a great time and what we have planned for you tonight. I'm April O'Leary. I am the publisher here at O'Leary Publishing. We have some of our team on tonight. We have Heather DeRocher. Say hi, Heather. Heather is our head editor. She runs our editorial team. She'll be speaking a little later on in this Zoom party. Kristen Bradford, who is our operations manager. She handles all the day-to-day details. Boris is our line editor and proofreader who's worked on a lot of our books, as has Kat Langenheim, who's representing from Seattle. So we've got a good amount of our team on here. And then shout out to Elliot Haverlack, who's one of our previous authors, who's such a supporter of our all of our authors who launch. He's done 2 books with us. So thank you for joining us tonight, Elliot. And to all of you who are Christine's dear and loved friends and family who are dialing in from all over the country and the world, really. So welcome. We're glad you're here. So Christine, how does it feel to see all of these faces on here to support your book launch?
Well, it's exciting. It's a little bit anxious, and I just never thought that this moment would happen, but it does. It did. I'm really happy to see everyone.
So Christine and I had a moment earlier today. We spoke a couple times today, but we did an Instagram live, our first Instagram live today. And I was saying that the publishing part of writing the book was not as hard as living the life that came before the writing. So you had to do that first. And I want to just commend you on putting together such a beautiful book from start to finish, from the beginning of coming here to America at age 9, all the way through your travels and your journeys with the United Nations. So I want to start, I always love starting asking authors, how did you know it was time to write a book? Because you've had such a full and rich life. You've traveled so much, you have relationships all around the world. And how did you decide to start penning what would become your book?
I started actually quite early when different things were happening in my life that were unusual, like, going to a foreign country, trying to learn the language, being alone, going through difficulties. And I remember thinking, this isn't really normal. This is not what should happen in your life. And so I would just write down sometimes a little, maybe like in a notebook, just a few things. I thought maybe it would be nice to remember when I look back at them. And then as life progressed, I would write down sometimes more. And before I thought about it, it was maybe like 20 pages. And then I thought, wow, this is, and more things would happen. So I would continue writing. And at one point I was maybe halfway through, but I'm like, this was just for me. And I would share it with some friends or family. And they would say, wow, this is amazing. This is a book. This sounds so great. You must finish it. And I would say, oh, okay. And then I would be motivated to write another page or 2. And then I would stop and say, oh, this will never happen. I never thought I would actually publish a book. And it continually, more things happened in my life, and I continued writing. And at one point, another friend who saw the notes, she would come at my house. She said, okay, more pages. And I found myself, I had no excuse. It was all there. It was sitting there. I think I must write and see what happens. And
here we are.
And here we are.
So it takes a lot of courage to write your story and to share things that maybe others don't know about you, or to try to piece it together in the right order. And how did you, before you ever met us at O'Leary Publishing, you had a working manuscript and you did a lot of the writing over the course of your lifetime, as you said. And so how did you know which stories to select in the process of, you have so many stories that it could fill volumes of books, but how did you decide what was important enough to write about?
I think I selected things by events that happened to me that really either made me very sad or made me happy, and something that I would think about, that either changed my life or made such an impression on me that it either made me grow or different feelings I would have. And I thought, if this left such a feeling deep inside of me, then it must I must write it down. I want to remember it because it was so impactful. It's something that I just can't forget. Or sometimes when something would happen, I would say to myself, I must remember this. I must remember this moment. And it was just a collection of so many moments in my life.
Beautiful. And you'll see when you read this book how the collection of stories that she chose are just beautifully woven together. And how did you decide, before you met us here in Naples, which was totally serendipitous, and you could share that story, but what were you thinking when you finally put together what you felt like this was a solid manuscript? Now, what do I do? And most aspiring authors who get to the finish line of writing any manuscript, which is not typical. Most people can't do that, which is amazing that you did. It's like the big question mark. Now, what do I do with it? So what did you do at that time?
Well, at first I started, of course, to go on Google and start Googling, how to publish your book. So then they would show up, they would tell you agents, different genres, whether it's horror, autobiography, fiction. So I went through maybe a couple months of looking at these things and thinking about, how do I proceed now that I have this book that I've written, this manuscript. And everything seemed very complicated. It was very foreign because I've never done it. And so then I started thinking, okay, I might go to New York. And I started looking at publishing companies, starting addresses, telephones. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe I will contact them or make an appointment, go there. And of course, my husband was not feeling well. And I thought, well, this will take me more time away from him. So I really thought it was quite a distance, especially with something so personal that you want to be involved with. And then one day I thought, okay, I'm going to just Google publishing companies Naples and see what happens. Could be Fort Myers, could be Tampa. And there it was, O'Leary Publishing popped up. And I was like, oh, wow. And I checked the address and it wasn't that far away. And I thought, this is even better. So I called the number, called once, and they said, go to the website. No, I have to talk to these people. I have to get a feeling. So I called again. And again, it told me to go to the website. So I went on the website, and there it came up that there was going to be a book event for O'Leary Publishing in 2 weeks. And I'm like, oh my God. So I signed up, I got the ticket. I thought, this is perfect. I will get to see who are these people. And not only that, I wanted to deal with women. I thought I really wanted, I worked on the first women's conference. I really wanted to promote women. I really wanted to work with women. And so I thought, this is great. It's a woman, it's O'Leary Publishing. So I got the tickets. I came up, and of course I met Heather, and she was lovely, and then introduced me to you. And I'm like, and I saw all the authors and the atmosphere, and I thought, this is something that I need to think about. And that was my beginning.
That was the beginning of the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the beginning of our love affair with Christine.
Yes.
We are so grateful that she was willing to take a chance on Illyria Publishing and publish with us. We've had an amazing time working with her. And I remember specifically at our Book to Naples event, which took place in February this past winter, if you can call winter in Naples actually winter. And Heather came up to me and she's like, there's this fascinating lady here, and she just told me her whole story, and she wants to publish a book, and she's a manuscript, and you have to meet her. And so I remember meeting Christine, and just how radiant you were, and how
Thank you.
dynamic, and the stories that you had to share were just so adventuresome. And so we were just really looking forward with the possibility of working with you. And we did what a lot of authors do. We do a manuscript review sometimes for people have a manuscript that's already done. So Heather and I had a chance to pre-read her book, give her our feedback, and she decided to jump in the deep end with us. So Heather DeRocher is our head editor, and she went from the beginning with Christine through her manuscript. And Heather, I want you to talk a little bit with Christine about what that process was like, the two of you together.
Yeah, so this process is pretty intimate, right? As you found out, Christine. I mean, we really dive in and we're dealing with intimate stories and powerful stories. And so we really spent a lot of time diving in. And when you're going through this process, all of your issues and things come up for you to deal with, right? And Christine had written such a beautiful, heartfelt story of her life, of so many, I mean, of such a long life with so much in it. So we really dove in and we started that conversation on the manuscript back and forth. And Christine is just so open and excited and willing and intelligent that it was such a joy to work with her, because she was
Oh,
really
thank you.
eager, to make it as good as we could make it. And so it was about 2 months, I think, maybe almost 3 months, that we were working on really developing and making sure what's missing, what don't we have. And I really pushed her to bring a little more feeling to it, right? Because a lot of times manuscripts start out with all the kind of the stories and the facts, but she's lived this amazing life and met so many amazing people and had traumatic experiences. And so we really pushed her, and she was really willing and open to say, okay, I'm going to dig in and I'm going to pull out some of the things that I hadn't yet put in the manuscript. How was that for you, Christine?
Well, it's a bit scary because you really, you're going deep inside. You're going through the painful things, and I mean, I worked on my manuscript, and I sat there crying quite a few times. It is, and of course you're open, and you have to be. You're writing your autobiography. You're not going to be making up things. It's how you feel. It's what happened to you. It's the truth, your truth, how you experience it through your own emotions and your eyes. And so it wasn't easy, but I was open. I wanted to be open to this experience. I wanted to do a good job, to do the best I could.
And you did, you worked really hard. What would you say was the most surprising thing about working together in developing this manuscript as a team with us?
I think it's just how much you work together. It's a teamwork. It's a team. It's bonding. It's getting to know each other. It's understanding, having empathy, and helping. Helping me to sort of give birth to this book. So it's a very close work teamship.
It really was. What would you say, Christine? Is there any way that you feel like you have really grown or changed through this process?
Oh, wow. I the fact that I've accomplished it, I've done it, I think gives you a certain amount of growth. I mean, it's one thing to think about it, to want to do it, to aspire, but to really do it and to put it out there, and it really does make you grow with it. You have to, you really have to rise with the book, with the growth of the book.
Well, and Christine, you know, you're really fearless, right? I mean, you lived a fearless life for so much of your life. Although this maybe was the hardest thing you've ever done, even though you've been in war-torn countries and elections in South Africa and all these amazing places, this might have been the hardest thing you did in some ways.
It has been, especially recently, it was one of the hardest things to go through because there was so much heart-wrenching things I had to, read and sort of not relive, but feel and have those memories. So it really was quite difficult. I will say, and you want it to be the best that you can. So you're reading and you're reliving those moments. So it was not easy.
I will say that you really are fearless, and I think you've become so much more confident. I mean, you've always been a strong woman. You've always been your own woman, but I would say now you have a peace in yourself because you accomplished something that most people never do. And it's such a beautiful thing to see. It's such an honor to have worked with you. I'm so grateful
Thank
for
you
this
so much.
experience and inspired by you, you know, really inspired. And we had both let's see, Boris worked on this, and Kat also worked on this. Kat, would you like to share a little bit about the manuscript and your experience working with Christine? We go through kind of a whole process of developmental editing, line editing, proofreading. So it's a lot more than it looks like, and it requires a whole team, as Christine said. So Kat, share a little bit about your experience on this.
You have to unmute
What's
yourself.
Kat, are you muted? There, you did it. Good.
You got it.
First of all, it was a very complete book by the time I got it to start editing. I know Heather had worked a lot on the developmental editing, and I got in at the kind of at the tail end of that just to see if there was any other things missing, and I made a couple of suggestions, but they were just minor suggestions. And so it was technically it was a very easy book to edit. Emotionally, not so much. It was I don't know if you've all read it yet, but it's pretty intense in parts. And so getting part of that, I stepped back, and there's only been, I think, 2 books that I've stepped back and said to Heather, this needs to be a movie. And this is one of them, because it certainly has been, some parts of your life have been so enviable. I guess that's why I was so got so invested so quickly in it, is that I was just, I mean, after the hardest parts, of course, growing up years, but then your experiences, starting out and the way you jumped in with the UN. I love women who take charge of their life, and you are certainly one of those women. And I admired you from afar,
Oh,
just reading your book.
thank you. Thank you.
It was a real honor to work on it.
We look forward to it being a movie. That's going to be awesome. I can't wait to go to your movie premiere, Christine. And then the final stage was Boris with his cat eyes to find all the little errors that the rest of us missed. So Boris, what was that like for you when you got the manuscript, when it was finally in your hands?
Well, I was really captivated by the whole story. First of all, as Kat said, it was you're reading it and you're taking in all the details and the the sequence, the timeline, and what struck me the most about the manuscript was Christine's determination to make not just a life for herself, but a high quality life for herself. And nothing fazed her. She rose to every occasion. And that was the thing that really stuck out for me. as far as what I did with the process, I tried to catch, as you said, all the little things, but and tighten up some things a little bit here and there, and make some suggestions as far as maybe some, some alternate ways of doing things. But I think, the story comes through loud and clear. It is it could be a movie. It certainly is, I think, an uncommon story for most people in the U.S. to hear, and very inspiring and very positive.
Thank you. Thank you,
Well,
Bob.
thank you to both of you. Yeah, they did a great job, didn't they, Christine?
Yes, they did. They really, it came out to be like a really something that I was very proud of to have published.
So I'd like to shift gears if we can a little bit, because one of the really unique things about Christine's book is all the beautiful photos that she has collected throughout her lifetime. And she and I had the privilege of going through a lot of those photos with her and digitizing them. And then she really had to select the best of the best to include in the book, because there's so many pictures and there's so many great things that we could have done. But we really wanted each photo to be impactful for the reader. And that's what we're always thinking of, the reader experience in writing and publishing a book. And so this photo that got selected for the front cover, and I'm going to share my screen for a second here with you all so you can see it. You can see this photo here of Christine's beautiful face as a 9-year-old girl. She's standing on a chair here. And let's talk a little bit about this photo, Christine, and why you chose this photo for the front cover.
Well, this photo, I don't know how I found it. I found it in some document. It was the day that I left Poland for America. And I was in some office, which I don't remember, but I remember that they wanted me to stand on a chair and take a picture. And as you can see, I looked so happy and not that nervous, but I think that picture expressed all the hope and all the joy that I had inside of me to venture into this new world. And I was just so excited. So, and I thought this would really represent the cover the best.
Did you think it's just the perfect picture for the cover?
Yes.
I really think it's the perfect picture for the cover. And then we have the interior of the book where we have other photos that are included. And I'm going to pull up the interior so that we can just see it for a minute here. But I want to talk a little bit about the interior and the design process while I'm getting file up.
So what was that like for you, Christine? We finally finished with the words after you working for years, and then we had been working as a team for months. And so the words are set, and now we're going to go into designing, and people maybe don't realize how much goes into actually picking the font and the style and where things go. What was that like for you when you saw it laid out for the first time?
I loved it. Just because what was important is that it was pleasing to the eyes. You don't want anything too harsh. You wanted to, for me, when I pick up a book, I want the way the words look to be welcoming, to be something that you want to read, that look pretty as well. And so I think the way we both worked on it is just looking at something for me that would fit the book, the story, that even with everything that was going on, it was a beautiful book.
I'm going to share my screen now that I've got this pulled up here for my delay there. But so this is one of the first pictures that the reader experiences. It says my grandmother and her children. And why did you choose to include this picture right up front?
Well, because to me, that was the beginning. Actually, that was like sent to me long ago when I was first found. And there's my grandmother, there's my mother, her sister, and her brother. That is the family unit that was in my life that I remember so well.
Mm,
And I thought that it was the perfect way to start.
yes. So if we scroll through here, you can see we've got some pictures included here.
And here I must have been maybe 4 years old when my mother was still alive, because she died when I was 5. And it's, of course, me in the middle, sticking my head out. And there's my sister Ella, Elizabeth, Teresa, and my mother, and my beloved grandmother. My sister Joanna, I don't think was born yet. So it was, but this photo I remembered well as a child.
And you can see how the headers there and the page numbers in the center, those are all choices that the author makes along the process of designing. Here's another one. So some of these are some from the early years.
This, yes, before I left, this is already, my mother had passed, and I guess, or maybe during that time, because Ella is already now in her 10. I'm, maybe 5. There's my baby sister Joanna and Teresa, and so there's already the 4 of us. This is the unit that when I leave for America, these are the 3 people that I will long for all, the rest of my, most of my life, that I long for and missed so much, missed their love. That was my family.
That was the family. So the book has been designed so that there are pictures throughout. And you can see how I'm scrolling through here. There's her beautiful face there, the full photo from the front cover. And the chapter headers where we went by location. And that was a decision that was made during the developmental editorial process as well. So if I scroll back here, you can see on the table of contents where we've got the various places that Christine has been, which is quite extensive. So we won't give you we won't spoil it for you. But that was part of the process. Once the manuscript is done, it's almost like, if you think of it like building a house, you've got the architect who then hands you the house, and you have to pick the curtains and the flooring and the paint color and all of that. And that's what interior design is. It's choosing the fonts and spacing and how the captions are going to look and what photos we're going to put in there. And so it's really this very collaborative process in working with the designer, Jessica, and going back and forth a bunch of times to make sure everything is just right. And so once we finish with that part, Christine has a vision, and her vision is pretty big. And I believe, as someone who knows her now very well and has read her story and has seen what she can do, is that this world needs to hear about women overcoming immense obstacles and serving our country and doing things that are, not stopping themselves just because bad things or hard things have happened. And Christine sees that for herself as well. And so we wanted to get together and put a website together and a video, some videos of her telling the story. And she's also going to speak at our Book Naples event coming up on April 10th, which, if any of you from around the country or outside of the country have a desire to come to Naples, plan it around April 10th. And then you can come to this great event where Christine's going to be speaking on stage in front of a few hundred people, talking about her experiences as a Polish immigrant, navigating this country and really creating the American dream. So, Christine, would it be okay before I open the floor if I share your website and your video with everybody?
Of course,
Okay.
please.
And Christine has, as Heather said, she's just fearless. And so we have a video company that we work with, and we decided that we would do the shoot at her house. So she generously opened her door, and all of the equipment came in, and the lighting and the staging and picking the outfits and using a teleprompter. And I mean, she just, was picking up skills right and left and did an amazing job. So you're going to see how this video turned out. And I think you're going to be impressed. So here we go.
Hi, I'm Christine Sadry,
the author of 13 Years Lost. This is my story, one of resilience and hope. At the age of 9, after the death of my mother and the abandonment of my father, my grandmother found an opportunity for me to emigrate to the United States alone, leaving communist Poland behind and the only life I knew. It felt like a chance for a new beginning. But for 13 years, I was caught in a cycle that separated me from the life I dreamt of and the people I loved. But I refused to let those years define me. I was eventually able to leave the abusive parents who adopted me and moved to New York City to pursue my dreams, which led me to a 30-year career working for the United Nations. This book is my journey of facing insurmountable adversity and choosing to find my voice, my identity, and my future. I wrote 13 Years Lost to inspire others who might feel trapped or forgotten.
Sorry about that. I think my internet.
You are never alone, and it's never too late to find your way back. I hope my story touches your heart and encourages you to believe in the power of resilience. Thank you for being part of this journey.
Beautiful.
Amazing.
And this website is totally new. Some of you may have registered for her book launch here on this button. If you're in Naples and you would like to meet Christine in person, you can register here for her in-person book launch. There's a beautiful slider image here that goes through a lot of her photos. Some are not even included in the book, so you can see some really amazing pictures here. There's the buttons to buy, Barnes & Noble and Amazon. And then if you scroll down, there's a bunch of other videos, and they look similar because the thumbnail is similar, but the questions she answers are different in each one. What led you to write 13 Years Lost? And then below here, what was your first experience in the US? How was your life changed after you arrived? Where were you enrolled into school? And Christine does such a beautiful job telling her story, and all those are unscripted. They're just from the heart. And I encourage you after the Zoom to go to christinesadry.com and watch the videos. You will absolutely love them. So Christine, is there anything before we open the floor that you want to share about your experience, or that you hope for this book as it launches into the world?
Well, of course, I wanted to do well. I think it's a good book. I think it's an interesting read, and I hope that it will get good readership, and it'll be out there, and it would be nice for it to be a movie. Of course, I think it would be a good story, especially now that there's so much immigration stories going on, and there's so many things going on at this time in the world, that I think it would be a good story. So I'm excited. I'm happy, and I'm so happy to have all my friends, and to be here and to share my life with them.
Well, we wish that all for you as well. And we know that there are a lot of people on this call here who would love to unmute and say something to you. So just picture this. We're all in a gathering place together in person, and Christine's there with her books. And this is how a Zoom book launch goes. It's just a little different than in person, because we can take turns unmuting and just pretend like you're walking up to Christine and you're telling her what you want to tell her at this particular moment in time, whether that's how you feel about her, the things you know about her. Elliot would like to go first, which is awesome. Thank you, Elliot. And just share your heart with her.
Christine, we've never met in person, but it's nice to meet you. Bravo on the book.
Thank you,
I have personal experience writing a couple, so I certainly don't have the experience you've had with your life, but I've had the experience going through the publishing process. And so I do agree April and her team are at. I've been just fascinating learning about you over the last couple hours, because when I signed up, I just went and did a little research. So I look forward to meeting you and learning some of your story. It's fascinating. The fact that you, as a single mom, had the courage to head out to New York City is really awe-inspiring. And having not ever been a woman or a single mom, I have no idea what that's like. But
It's difficult.
yeah, it had to be incredibly difficult. So bravo to you. And I apologize, but I have a hard stop at 7:30, of which I'm 6 minutes late for. But I did want to
Hang
just
on, Elliot.
congratulate you, and I'll look forward to meeting you in the future. Thank you,
Thank you,
guys.
thank you,
Nice
Elliot.
meeting you all.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Elliot.
Bye-bye.
Next. Go ahead, Patty.
Congratulations, Christine. I always knew that you were going to make it. I've known Christine for a long time, and Christine has always been amazing, and she has always shown strength. And I was so glad that she was able, for years, I was like one of her greatest fans, because whenever I would communicate with her and she would show me pictures from like South Africa, all these interesting places, I had 3 binders, and it was about the life of Christine. And it was because she was, you know, sort of like the Lara Croft of people from Philadelphia. She was the one that she did it all. We all talked, but we never did what Christine did. And Christine, I've always been so proud of you. And I think you deserve, you know, like all the accolades that you will get. And I really think that your story would make a great movie, because, you know, there's not many stories out like that, of where you start out, you know, sort of on the bottom. And even when you thought you reached bottom, you didn't reach bottom. And then you soared for the stars. And you went over, you accomplished everything you wanted to do. And I will always be so proud of you, my friend. And I will always wish the most good things that could ever happen to you.
Thank you so much, Patty. Thank you.
Thank you, Patty. Jane, were you wanting to go next?
Okay, yeah. I mean, when I read the book, I mean, I've known Chris basically for quite a long time. I remember, I think the first time I ever met her was at the governing council when you were working for UNFPA. And so over the years, and of course, I know some of the places she's been to, because I've been there too. And but what I didn't really know was the whole story about her life, her upbringing, and what she went through as a young girl in Poland and coming to the States, and what she went through when she came to the States. I didn't know that. And so when I read all of that, it was very hard. I mean, she had a very hard time, you know, and to come through all of that. I mean, I always like Chris, you know, she's lovely, but for her to go through all of that, well, she's a fighter, you know, I'm a fighter too, so I identify with that. She's a fighter, and yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, she was very, very brave. Smart always, of course, which helps, but she was very brave. And yeah, and then to come to New York to start working with the UN, you know, I mean, I didn't have the tough upbringing that she went through, you know, but to sort of do what she did like that, it takes a lot of nerve and a lot of guts. I mean, I came to New York with a return ticket and 20 quid in my pocket, so, you know, I can identify with that. And an interview only. So, but like I said, I didn't go through the hard times she went through as a young girl. I had loving parents and, you know, completely different. But yeah, it was something. And then when I read some of the other stories, you know, different times and on missions and things, you know, I could identify with certain bits of that, because, you know, anybody who's been on some of these missions, you know what they're like, and there's all kinds of stuff. It's fun, but there's moments of danger, Shut up, Bruno. It's my dog again. So, you know, it's yeah, it's unless you've been in these things, it's hard to really explain to people. But I think that in the stories that she's put about her experiences with the UN, there's quite a lot of stuff in there that people, they really need to read it, because everybody thinks, oh, people work at the UN and they go off here and they get paid a shitload of money and blah blah blah, right? But the truth is, it's not all like that. And some of these missions, when you go on them, it's like, yes, there's fun and there's friendships and all that stuff, but it can be very hard too and very challenging, you know. But amazing experience.
So appreciate you sharing.
Thank you.
It's so great to hear.
Well done. I mean,
We're gonna...
I'm very proud of her. Well done, Chris. And they should make a movie. They should make a movie. Definitely.
Hopefully, and all you'll come to my premiere. That would be nice.
But no, I was thinking, Christine,
Judy,
the most important thing was your strength. You know, it's like you had to make decisions that a lot of us would say, well, no, you know, we could make judgments on. But it's like you wouldn't be the person, the strength that you are today if you didn't make these decisions. Considering what you did all your life, we were all cowards. We were all women, and you were like a man, you know, in a man's world. And that's why, you know, it's like everybody's going to love your story. I swear to God, I start reading it. There's some times where I was crying my heart out because I could feel the pain that you had gone through. And then not only just like the direct pain, but decisions that you had to make that made you the person you are today. And it's like, I think everybody should see your story, because then that would give you more strength, and it wouldn't make us women so afraid.
Thank you. Thank you, Patty.
Judy, were you unmuted? Did you want to go next? Yes, I saw you unmute.
Hi.
Thank you.
Hi, Judy.
Oh my goodness, congratulations. You know, I've known Christine for 16, 17 years, and I've met thousands and thousands and thousands of women in my several different careers along the way. And you're the only one that has the beauty of like an old world movie star, you know, and in combination with the courage and tenacity of a 5-star general. Yeah. And, you know, through the years that I've known you, you've always been so consistent with your friendship. You've helped me through so many, I'm going to start tearing up here, but you've helped me through so many, you know, things that I've struggled through. And you were always able, even like when you moved away from New York City, because that's where we met, I felt like we would meet for lunch or dinner, or maybe just a phone call. And it only took you a few minutes to like put me back on track and to get me inspired and to really like, you know, give me the courage to move on in my life. So it's not just that you've done it with your life, but you've done it with others. And I know that if you've done it with me, you've done it with many others too. And it's just the story as it unfolds in your life, even though I've only known you 16 years, it's almost like you've lived several lives, even in those 16 years, right? With everything you've been through. And this story, the book, puts all the rest of it together, and it's just tied together so beautifully. And I remember when you were saying, I think I gotta write a book, like I really should write a book. I really, really need to get this down. Like, you know, before it's too late, I got to do this, you know? So I just can't tell you how proud I am of you, and congratulations. And I support you to the very, very end. And I just, yeah, it's just amazing. You're amazing.
Thank you so much, Judy. I love you. You're so wonderful. Thank you. And I'm so glad that I was able to help you. I'm so glad. Thank you.
Always.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Judy. Maria, you're up next.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay.
I had to find
Go ahead, Maria, and then
Okay, Maria.
after
Okay.
Maria.
Right.
Just quickly, because I haven't read the book. I'm looking forward to reading it as soon as I get it. from what everybody has said there. It is a fascinating book, and I do not doubt it. You have been in the front lines. You have been in the field. Unlike some of us who work at headquarters in our offices practically throughout our entire careers. So you have seen a lot more action than I from my office in the 36th floor. I congratulate you on this achievement. I feel inspired by you and from what your friends have said. I admire you very much. Even though our own relationship has been sporadic, I met you after I retired. I am so glad that I did. Thank you for your book, which I am going to read as soon as I get.
Thank you so much, Maria. It's lovely. Thank you. Thank you for your kind words.
Daphne, go ahead. You're next.
Okay, Chris, I am so thrilled for you. How many years ago we met? 1974 at Social Security. And
yes.
And I met you before you were reunited with your family.
Yeah.
And I just remember you telling me that story when you got a call saying that your father was trying to locate you. And it's just so thrilling that all this has come together. And I had no idea, you told me about your past. I just never knew. I'm sorry, I just never knew all the stuff you went through.
Love you. But thank God you've been a wonderful friend and for 40 years, and we're still together. Thank you, Kathy.
Beautiful. I'm crying. Rudy, you're up next.
Wonderful, and congratulations for everything you've done.
Hi, Rudy. That's my brother-in-law.
Hey, Rudy.
It's been very nice listening to everybody, also the presentation and everything. I know Jane mentioned something, a few others, Patty about Chris, like a general or being so. I know she's like Caesar, it's about Veni, Vidi, Vinci. Whatever she does it with class, elegance, and success. And I'm sure this book is going to be incredible. I cannot wait to read it.
Rudy. Thank you. Thank you so much. Love you.
Where's next?
Did you say Helen?
I did. I said Helen. Yes.
Okay.
And Rudy, thank you for sharing. It's great to hear from you.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank Judy Goss, who introduced me to Christine. Judy has always been a big advocate for women and has done wonders for my career as well as thousands of other women. And through this association, I met Christine, and we've had lunches and dinners, but really never got to be that intimate where I knew her history. So first of all, I have to say, yay, it's finally here. I'm so excited. And for the past 3 years, we've gotten together again through Judy Goss. She was going through some issues and I was going through some issues and I was going away. And she said, why don't you two go away together and commiserate and make each other happy? And through that, I was able to read the first manuscript, the really raw edit, and it was fascinating. But at this point, I'm looking forward to reading the entire essence of it. I think you really pulled out the richness by the written word of what she went through a different perspective as well as her own. And I never saw the photos. And Christine, I can't say enough about Christine, what a wonderful, besides elegant, gorgeous, and all those things that you could see outward, inward as a friend, she's one of the most beautiful people I've ever met. Beautiful. Beautiful and kind. And I am so fortunate to be her travel buddy. I can't tell you. I'll share it with you at the book launch in Naples. Look forward to meeting you all. And let's go. Hip, hip, hooray, Yay!
Oh, thank you,
Congratulations.
Helen. You're a sweetheart. Thank you so much.
I love it. You'll have to come on April 10th to the Book Naples event.
Coming, yes.
Kathy Murphy, would you like to go?
Yes, I would. I want to say hello to everybody, and especially to Christine. I'm calling in or zooming in, I guess, from Boston. And I met Christine through our mutual friend who also worked and her husband, who also worked at the United Nations with Christine and her husband. And we had lots of happy times in Naples. So and I've been living vicariously through Christine on Facebook. I've been following her travels jealously on Facebook, and I do hope to get to Naples. I won't be there in April, sorry, or in November. So, but I do hope to get to connect with you in Naples sometime this winter.
Absolutely. Please do when you're here. Love to.
And yes, and I do remember meeting one of your sisters, and that's what I'm just so happy. I haven't read the book. I'm looking forward to doing it. But I'm just so happy that you found your family after so many years, because the one sister that I met, I think it was Ella.
Yes.
She's a lot of fun. She's a lot of fun, and I'm sure you have a lot of fun together. So I'm just so happy for you, and I know Peggy would be so proud of you, as I'm sure
she's here with us all.
Yes. So hi everybody, and congratulations, Christine.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Anyone else want to unmute and share? Or we wrap it up here this evening?
Hi, Christine, it's Lorraine. I'm not on video because honestly, I'm just not presentable right now. I just finished cooking dinner for some unexpected friends. So anyway, I just wanted to say it's unimaginable to me, although I know it happens, that I spent 37 years at the UN and you spent 30 and we never met until recently on Facebook.
I know.
And I just want to say that the little I know about your story, I am just in awe and admiration, and I can't wait to get the book to read it. And I hope that one of these days we can meet. So congratulations, Christine, and just lots of blessings. And I hope that the book is a tremendous success.
Thank you so much, Lorraine. Thank you. I really appreciate you being here.
All the best, Christine. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
I just unmuted myself, April. Because I don't know all of I know the names of the sisters, obviously, but there's a Joanna. Is this a sister?
Yeah, Joanna is Asha.
Is she on? There's a Joanna that's on. And I was wondering if it was your sister.
Is she muted?
Can I just say before I go?
She's muted.
I think that Bay would be so very proud of you. He would love.
She doesn't know how to
read that story. Okay, I just want to say that.
Thank you, Jane. I know it's late. It's bedtime.
Well, it's okay. I'm awake now. It's okay. But anyway, listen, I wish you all the best. We'll stay in touch.
Absolutely.
I don't post a lot on Facebook. I am actually off to Egypt on Monday, but you know, I don't post on Facebook generally. But we'll stay in touch.
Have a fabulous trip and we'll talk.
Joanna, you want to go ahead, Joanna? Thank you, Jane.
I love you. Bless you all.
Thank you.
Can the Joanna hear us?
Yes, we can.
Hi.
Can you hear us?
Yes, we can.
Well, I was trying to figure out what she did with the computer.
Somehow, the video, which I was trying to just temporarily stop.
Hello, sir.
Hi. Can you?
Hello? Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. Well, yes. I'm here with my husband. We're very happy.
We just loaded. and we came back to participate in the
Your book lounge?
presentation. Yeah, and this has been
I'm so glad.
great. We've been having a great time. Thank you
Yes.
so much for inviting us.
And I'm very proud of you. I mean, I hope
Well, you
this
lived my story.
makes it to a movie, because I think it deserves it, even though I have not read the final version yet. But yeah, I'm just happy
Oh.
that this makes such an impact on so many friends and family. And just wanted to congratulate you.
It's
Thank you.
amazing that
Tell you
something
that
you've been
we're very
working on
happy.
for so long
Yes.
has, you know, finally come to fruition, because, you know, we've seen, you know, you as you've been working on it throughout, and it's been great. And we wanted to say hello to everybody, especially, hey, Rudy, it's good to see you. God bless everyone.
I'm so glad Asha took that off.
Hello. Hello.
Consuelo.
Hi. I just learned how to unmute.
Oh,
Please.
I just want to congratulate you, Chris.
thank you, dear. You're a little bit the screen.
I know. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing, but I enjoyed it. I want to congratulate you.
Oh.
I want to tell you that I enjoyed our lunch last week. It's Consuelo calling from New York. I was in Florida and we met for lunch. I've known Christine more than 31 years. We love her. We wish her well, and we're sure the book will be a success. And I'm glad I was able to get on. I don't know if I'm twisted, but I'm glad I'm getting it on.
Thank you
Hello
so
to everyone.
You're a sweetheart.
Thank you so much. I'm glad you're able to unmute. That's amazing. Anyone else who has a last?
Is that Dana? Is your daughter on?
Dana? Is she muted?
She's
Yeah,
muted.
there's no picture.
She may
W
be
is
in a
her
place
last name.
where she can't. She may be in a place where she can't talk or.
Well, we're glad that Dana's here, who's in the book.
So I like to, and if there's anyone else who wants to chime in, don't let me cut you off. But while we're waiting for a last gaspers, I would like to just share with you, because you're all here because you know and care about Christine. You've known her for decades, and anytime an author launches a book, the best way to support an author is to, of course, buy their book. Buy multiple copies of the book. That way you can pass it out to some friends who you know might like it. It's great to gift. We're like coming up on holiday time here. And also make sure that you leave an Amazon review. So once you purchase the book and you read it, then you go back to Amazon and you click the review button, and then that's how you can leave a review. And that's really important for discoverability. Also, if you know of anybody who has influence in the media, or who runs a book club. She has book club questions at the back of her book, who you could make introductions to. That's also a way that you can help a new author. So Christine also is going to be launching some speaking opportunities as well. So if you know people who run events that revolve around anything to do with, you know, her story, women's empowerment, overcoming obstacles, abuse, tragedy, relocating, immigration, all of those kinds of topics are things Christine can talk on as well. You know, you all know that, so I don't need to tell you that. But it's important to know, because I think that as friends and family are on here, we all know how to support someone if you're invited to a wedding or a baby shower, like what's the etiquette. We're all very familiar with that. But with a new author, we don't know, because most of us don't know new authors. So it's my job to kind of let you know the ways that you can support her. So thank you all for being a part of this. Susie Quick, you have your hand raised. Would you like to chime in? Do you know how to unmute? Looks like her video is trying to come on here.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can. Hi,
I don't
Susie.
think you can see me anymore. I lost something happened. My phone went out. So anyway, Christine, I am so proud of you beyond words. I was so honored to meet you about 1.5 years ago, and that you asked me to read your book before you ever published it, and I cried all the way through it. But I have gained so much courage and inspiration. Just your story alone has inspired me in ways that I could never thank you enough, because of the things that we shared, you know, together about, you know, our journeys. And I love you, and I am so proud of you. And I will be there at that premiere, waiting to see that movie right beside you, lady. I am so proud and honored to be your friend, and I love you. And I'm so grateful to share this beautiful moment with you. Go girl, you're doing amazing. And let's get that movie going. I love you.
Love you too, Susie. Thank you so much.
And
You're
Dana,
welcome, sweetie.
Dana said she couldn't unmute, but she said, "I'm so proud of you, Mom." She typed in the chat, but she was trying to unmute and she couldn't do it. So that's from your daughter, how proud she is of you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Dana.
So lots of love to all of you. Thank you for spending an hour of your evening or late night evening for those of you who are in other time zones. Christine, did you want to close this out with your final words on your first day of your book being part of the world?
I just want to thank everyone for being there for me. That I really appreciate it, and just thank you. And I can't wait to connect with you again soon, I hope. And love you. Sending nothing but love. Thank you so much for participating in this
For
event.
being a part. And I put the link on Amazon. If you haven't had a chance to purchase yet, you can click that link there in the chat. It'll take you straight over to Amazon US. And if you aren't in the US, you can get it on Amazon in your country. So thank you all and good night.
Thank you. Thank you so much, April.
Thank you, Christine.
Welcome.